welcome to American Latino Television, where we celebrate American Latino pride. I'm your host, Mary Annie, and on today's special show, we are going to explore the African roots of American Latino culture. I'll introduce to you some unique Afro-Latinos. Okay, but first let's go to Colombia, where we learn about Champeta music. We caught up with filmmaker SILVA, who gave us a history lesson on Afro-Colombians.
Vibration rock in your station.
SILVA, aka Champeta-Man, has committed his numerous talents to educating people about Afro-Colombian culture through films and music.
My family was involved in doing filmmaking, my father and my mother. So I decided to get involved on doing filmmaking. So I've done about 5 documentaries about Champeta music.
Born in Colombia but raised in Paris, France, Lucas learned about the African culture because of the large number of Africans living in France.
I live in an African neighborhood in Paris called Chateau Rouge. It's like the French Harlem, and I've been living 15 years in France. And then I got in contact with the best African musicians in France, Dale Kimoko, Diblo Dibala. So all of them were the inspiration for my black people in Colombia for doing the born of Champeta music.
Champeta derives from African music called high life, but it is sung in Spanish. The name Champeta originates from a small knife. Champeta parties were notorious for knife fights, but the scene got cleaner after the 1970s. This music came to the coast of Colombia in the 70s through sound systems, also known as mobile discotheques, which originated in the West Indies.
The sailors who were traveling to Africa, sometimes they stopped in Cartagena and Buenaventura, and they brought some African LPs. So this is the beginning of Champeta, because our Afro-Colombian people listened to that music, and they discovered that the roots were more in African music than in anything else, right? I've been doing all my films about this music.
Pero nosotros somos los champeteros, la gente que le gusta la música africana, los que vivimos en los barrios populares.
Where there is a lot of discrimination, a lot of colonial mentality. So we're fighting against that, and we are fighting for everybody to knowledge that this is a positive culture.
Even though Colombia has around 13 million people of African descent, there still is discrimination. Lucas wants to educate people through his films, like The Sons of Bencos. Bencos Piojo was a slave from Africa that came to Colombia in the late 16th century. He is considered the founding father of Afro-Colombians.
Por medio del maltrato que tenían los negros, se escaparon varias personas, donde llegaron a ese corralito de piedra, donde le llamamos Palenque, de San Basilio.
So he came to Colombia as a slave, but he ran away from his masters, and he rebuilt with about 100 of African slaves. So they ran away from Cartagena, and they founded the first African village, free African village in America, which is called San Basilio de Palenque.
De Palenque que no olvida a su madre patria, África.
Lucas took the name Palenque and opened a record label where he promotes Champeta music to the world.
So Palenque Records is our label that I founded in 1997, and we are really working hard for the Afro-Colombian culture, because if we don't record the music of our oldest people now, all that culture they have brought from Africa is going to disappear.
Fighting ignorance is Lucas's main mission. By educating more people about the Afro-Latino experience, he hopes to make a difference, not just in Colombia, but all over the world.
Colombia is a country who's been in a lot of trouble, a lot of wars, but culture for us is peace, you know? I mean, the future is culture, education. Everybody knows about Afro-Cuban, Afro-Brazilians, but who knows about Afro-Colombians? This is a real fight. We got to change it by the young people, because The older people, they don't understand what we're fighting about sometimes.
Don't go anywhere. Next, we'll meet a man who's built a shrine to the memory of Roberto Clemente, a baseball legend who opened the doors for many Latinos of color.
Just give